Hello friends, how are you all? Hope you all are doing very well. And I have already discussed Anglo-Saxon period part first and now Anglo-Saxon period part second. This video is for all those students who are preparing for BPSC, UPSC, English language and literature as optional paper. And this is also going to help all those students who are preparing for NTA NET, SET or they are the students of graduation and post-graduation in English literature. Okay friends, without wasting your time, let's start. As I have already discussed in previous video, the Christian influence on Anglo-Saxon people and its literature. In Anglo-Saxon period, influence of Christianity was so deep that most of the written works were brought in written form to England by churches during that period. In Anglo-Saxon period, mostly monks preserved Latin and Greek classics. They also preserved great epics in Anglo-Saxon period. There are some characteristics of Anglo-Saxon literature which W.J. Long in his book mentions in this way. He has given 5 principles. The first one is the love of freedom. The people of Anglo-Saxon people were very much they were the admirer of the love of freedom. And the second point that he mentioned, the second characteristic that he mentions in his book is responsiveness to nature. The people of Anglo-Saxon people, the Anglo-Saxon people were very much restricted towards the spirit of nature. They were very much positive towards nature. They believe in nature and its spirit. And the third characteristic is a strong religious conviction. The people of Anglo-Saxon used to believe in fate and fortune. And the fourth characteristic is reverence for womanhood. And the last one is devotion to glory as the ruling motive in every warrior's life. So these are the characteristics of Anglo-Saxon literature which were described by W.J. Long in his book. There are some characteristics of Anglo-Saxon poetry too, and those are the Anglo-Saxon writers used metaphors, simile, alliterations, kennings, reflects the contrast between paganism and Christianity in their poetry. They also used caesura. This is a literary device which each line in poetry has a cut or a break that is separated by a pause, and that pause is known as caesura, and it is represented by double parallel line. And the last characteristic of Anglo-Saxon poetry is instructions of moral lessons. They used to represent moral lessons in their poetry. Okay, Anglo-Saxon verses were usually heroic poetry or elegiac poetry. You all have must gone through heroic poetry and you are familiar with elegiac poetry too. Heroic poetry is that in which a writer describes about some legend or some great hero or superhero or the person who is very noble, who is known for bravery or strength. That person is described in the poem, and that such poems are known as heroic poetry. Elegiac poetry is a poetry in which the poet describes sorrowful laments on someone's death, someone who is very much close and beloved's death. And this is also used in elegiac poetry. Some of the writers also mention the great loss in their poems. So such poetry is known as elegiac poetry. Okay, so the greatest heroic poem of Anglo-Saxon in Anglo-Saxon period was Beowulf, and it is a long epic about a great pagan. This is a very interesting story, the story of Beowulf, and the hero, who was a pagan, is very famous for courage and strength. He is famous for bravery and his dignity. Beowulf was a warrior who was hired by the king of Dane. His name was Hrothgar, to save the people of his kingdom from a monster named His name is Grendel. The name of the monster is Grendel. One night, when all the people of the kingdom of Hrothgar were singing and enjoying the party at night, then a monster Grendel entered entered their hall, and he killed 30 of sleeping warriors. And the hall was built near a sea. So the name of that hall was called Herod. Its name was Herod. So if you are asked the question that what was the name of a hall that is used in Beowulf, so you can give the answer that its name was Herod. Okay, so what happened next? Warriors fought against monster Grendel, but no weapons harmed him. At last Beowulf came to know this bloodshed by Grendel, and he, with his bravery and strength, killed Grendel at last in the story. Actually, Beowulf is the national epic of England, and it's because it is the first such work composed in English language. So it is regarded as the greatest work of Anglo-Saxon period, greatest heroic poem of Anglo-Saxon. So if you ask the question that which one is the greatest heroic poem of Anglo-Saxon, so you have the answer, it's Beowulf. Okay, now the great writers of Anglo-Saxons. There are some writers who are known in Anglo-Saxon periods at a large extent, and they are known for their works. So the first name that comes is Bede, the Venerable Bede, and the next is Cadman and Cynewulf. The Venerable Bede was a monk, and he was a great scholar, and he also was known as father of English learning. He has written some of the works, but his important work is Ecclesiastical History of the English People. And his last work, unfortunately that was lost, was Gospel of John. And this was a translation into Anglo-Saxon. Another great poet of Anglo-Saxon was Cadman, and he did not write any work, it's not mentioned, but there are some attributes which were attributed to Cadman. The first one is paraphrase. In 17th century, this paraphrase was discovered and it was attributed to Cadman. And it is not his written work. It is also said that it is known today that this work, paraphrase, is the work of more than one writer. Most dramatic literature that was known in Anglo-Saxon period it was also attributed to Cadman, was Judith. Now the third poet was Cynewulf. Cynewulf was the greatest of Anglo-Saxon poets, and he wrote many of the works. Some of his signed poems are The Christ, Juliana, The Fates of Apostles, and Ellen. These are some signed poems of Cynewulf. And there are some other poems which are not written by him, that are unsigned, and they are attributes to him. So some of the poems that were the attributes to Cynewulf are Andreas, The Phoenix, The Dream of the Rood, The Descent into Hell, and The Wanderer. He also wrote some of the riddles, and these are his unsigned works, unsigned poems. Next, what happened? By the end of 8th century, literature of Anglo-Saxon came to decline. And with the conquest of Northumbrian by Danes started conquering some of the places of England from Northumbrians and the tribes, the Anglo-Saxons. Then the poetic period of Anglo-Saxon literature came to its decline, and it ended in almost 8th century. By the end of 8th century. And then another literary phase started, that was prose. The writing of prose started. The prose literature in Anglo-Saxon begins with Alfred, and he was the greatest of Wessex. He was the king of Wessex. Anglo-Saxon chronicle This is the greatest and the most important prose work of Anglo-Saxon period, and which was revised and enlarged by Alfred. And it is the oldest historical record known to any European nation in its own tongue. So if you ask the question that which one is the European historical record which is written in its own tongue, so you have the answer that Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. And remember that this is prose, it's not poetry. He also wrote some of the translations which were very famous, that are Orosius Universal History and Geography. Bede's History was also translated by him, and Pope Gregory's Shepherd's Book was also translated by Alfred, and he also translated Boethius' Consolations of Philosophy. So he was a great translator too. So Alfred in this way marked the end of started prose literature in Anglo-Saxon period, and he was a great translator too. Some of his important works are very famous in Anglo-Saxon period. Okay, in next video we will try to cover some of the literary devices which we have used here, and you must be knowing already, but we will try to cover, and will try to make you understand in a very precise and easy way. Okay friends, and please do not forget to like, share and subscribe my video.